This is the OTB Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Horses and Courses. I'm Jean Wood. We've got a busy weekend of stakes racing to bring to you, and we're going to begin down in Florida at Calder Racecourse, where on Saturday they ran the JJ's Dream, $100,000 for 2-year-old fillies going 5.5 furlongs. Let's head to Calder and the running of the JJ's Dream.
They're all in the gate. And they're off in the JJ's Dream Stakes. On the far outside hoop, there it is, breaks sharply. Now it's My Kip that rushes up from the rail to get the lead. A Classy Sassy Lassie moves into second position. Then toward the rail, it's Punch Appeal fourth. It's 2 lengths back from between horses. That's Leona's Knight, half length back toward the outside. It's Yes, It's Gold moving up. Then it's another length and a half. Far outside, Tricky Ridge moving toward the inside. That's Spinning Jolie, and 3 lengths back, the trailer is Tookie Tookie. First quarter in 21-4. They move to the quarter pole in the JJ's Dream Stakes. With the lead, it's My Kip by a length, a Classy Sassy Lassie. Then to the outside hoop, there it is. It's 2 lengths back to the rail to Punch Appeal. Then to the outside, Yes, It's Gold. They're at the top of the stretch now. With the lead toward the inside, it's still My Kip. A Classy Sassy Lassie coming on the outside. At the rail, it's Punch Appeal. They move to the 16th pole. Punch Appeal at the rail, slips through to get the lead. To the outside, a Classy Sassy Lassie. It's Punch Appeal going to take the JJ's Dream Stakes by 3.5. A Classy Sassy Lassie takes the place. It was Spinning Jolie third.
Punch Appeal gets the win here by 4 1/4 easy lengths, well placed on the rail, drawing clear nicely under Julio Garcia from a Classy Sassy Lady. Spinning Jolie back in the third spot after a rallying move that brought her from well back into third. The Talking Horse going in. The favorite, the even money choice in here was Yes, It's Gold, a recent private purchase off a big maiden victory. She showed good early speed but faltered late to finish 6th in the field of 9. The winner, however, another offspring of one of the freshman stallions that we're watching, so successful so far, has been Successful Appeal. The winner, Punch Appeal, is a bay daughter of Successful Appeal from Okanagan Dawn by 2 Punch. Bred in Florida by the Rosebrook Farm Limited and owned by Diane Waldron. Trained by William White, ridden to victory by Julio Garcia, Punch Appeal covers the 5.5 furlongs in 106-4. We're going to head next to Delaware in the running of the Kent Breeders' Cup for 3-year-olds going on the turf, $250,000, 1.1 miles on the grass. Let's head to Delaware now in the running of the Kent.
And they're off in the Kent Breeders' Cup. Wire bound away well toward the inside for the lead. Up on the outside, King's Carnation. Icy Atlantic is also right there. Expletive on the far outside as they race down the chute and onto the main course. To the inside, Icy Atlantic right alongside King's Coronation, 3 wide. That's Expletive settling behind that group. Wirebound nicely tucks in 4th, followed by the Great Timo in 5th. 2 lengths to Master David next in line, followed by up on the outside Commendation, and the trailer is Big Booster. As they make their way into that first turn, King's Carnation by a length. Icy Atlantic right there, second. Expletive on the outside, and Wirebound saving ground toward the inside. Timo's going along nicely, racing in 5th. 2 lengths to Master David, 3 more to Commendation, and Big Booster continues the trail, quarter in 26-2 on this yielding turf course as they reach the backstretch with 5 furlongs to go. On the front end, Icy Atlantic by ahead. King's Carnation, the maiden, pulling up alongside. A length and a further back to Expletive. Wirebound has the rail, followed by Timo looking to ease off the rail for clear sailing, and does so. Master Dave is going to track that one. Then 2 lengths to Commendation, and Big Booster. Only about 7 lengths separates this field as they pass the half-mile marker, half in 52-2. They've been cantering down the backstretch as they move into the turn. Icy Atlantic, still King's Carnation is right there in second. Wirebound toward the inside of Expletive. Timo now back toward the inside as Master David trying to pin him in. Big Booster begins to move from the back, and Commendation is the trailer. They've got just over a quarter mile to go, and it's still Icy Atlantic they've got to catch. King's Coronation. Big Booster's making a Wide move around the bend, and they're bunching up behind Icy Atlantic as they head for home. King's Coronation is still right there. Wirebound is hemmed in toward the inside. Timo with nowhere to go has to angle to the inside, and Combination's coming from the back. Icy Atlantic is trying to hold on. Combination is coming. Timo on the inside. Icy Atlantic has something left. Icy Atlantic, late run from Timo. It's going to be tight. Icy Atlantic and Timo. That's a photo. Combination followed by King's Coronation. It's close for the win.
The turf course was very soft, labeled soft. It was really quite a bog, but it was a terrific stakes effort here by Timo with Icy Atlantic. A nose behind the stretch duel was really quite exciting here. Richie Migliori, first time aboard Timo, getting his nose down on the wire. Commendation back in the third spot. This is a horse that had run 2 outstanding races since moving on to the turf. Fan 6 wide, gained some ground slowly, but could not quite match the top 2 finishers in here. Favorite in the field was Master David. Another disappointing performance from this horse, who made a bit of a middle move before fading back into the 6th spot in the field of 8. The winner, Timo, did have some trouble. He was trapped on the rail early. He was a 2-time winner in listed stakes at 2, won the Transylvania earlier on this year, and has now stepped up his game with a win in the Kent. Timo is a Greyer Roan 3-year-old son of El Prado from Ella Katzbergler by Criminal Type. He was bred in Kentucky by C.K. Wood Stable, owned by the breeder, and trained by Bill Badgett. Ridden to victory by Richie Migliori, Timo covers the 1 1/8 on that very soft surface in 1:55 and 3. We're going to stay in the Mid-Atlantic and head to New Jersey for a pair of stakes races at Monmouth Park, beginning with the Jersey Shore Breeders' Cup Stakes for 3-year-old sprinters running for $100,000 in Grade 3 company. Let's head down to Monmouth and the Jersey Shore.
Racing in the Jersey Shore Breeders' Cup Stakes. And Pomeroy goes right out to the front with Value Plus away running in second. Got a Ghost of a Chance third early. Dan Dune to the outside and Midnight Express. So the 2 favorites go at it right from the beginning. Pomeroy and Value Plus are 1-2 up the backstretch, and Pomeroy right now leads by about a head. Got a Ghost of a Chance is 2.5 lengths behind the pace-setting pair. Dan Dune is 4th, and then Midnight Express. The first quarter went along at a leisurely pace, 22 2/5 seconds. Pomeroy now leads the way by a 1/2 length. He's going to turn it up a bit now. Pomeroy by a 1 1/2. Value Plus is second by 2. Got a Ghost of a Chance guided to the inside by Stuart Elliott, and now it's 4.5 to the other 2, Midnight Express and Dan Dune. A 1/2 mile in 44 2. Pomeroy really picked it up through that second fraction and opens up by 3. Value Plus full out in second. Got a Ghost of a Chance is third, and then it's Midnight Express. It's all Pomeroy. Coming past the 16th pole, he's 4 in front. Got a Ghost of a Chance is second, then Value Plus and Midnight Express. Pomeroy, powerful in the Jersey Shore Breeders' Cup in 109 flat. It was Got a Ghost of a Chance second, close for third between Midnight Express and Value Plus.
Pomeroy popping clear at about the top of the stretch, holding sway by about 4 over Got a Ghost of a Chance. Midnight Express, who was well back early, rallied at 23-1 to finish third in the short field of 5. Another disappointing performance from Value Plus. This guy has been a bit of an enigma. Explosive debut last year, has come back with a couple of troubled trips, but never really quite put it together this year. They dropped him back to sprinting, yet his 2 most recent sprint efforts have been a little bit dull. Obviously, the Pletcher barn is I'm sure, a little bit concerned, and they'll be looking to find a source of some of his problems, as he was certainly a very impressive early 2-year-old last year. The winner, however, Pomeroy, also a very good 2-year-old last year, won a couple of nice races early in the year. Did finish first in the Kentucky Cup Juvenile, was DQ'd back to third that day, but Pomeroy has been a pretty consistent contender in sprint races throughout most of his career. He is a 3-year-old bay son of Boundary from Questress by Seeking the Gold. Bred in Kentucky by the Cherry Valley Farm and owned by Derek Smith and Michael Tabor. Trained by Pat Biancone and ridden to victory by Joe Bravo, Pomeroy covers the 6 furlongs at Monmouth in 109 flat. We're going to head right back to the Jersey Shore for the running of the Dearly Precious, named after a top sprinting filly in the 1970s. This is a $60,000 sprint for 3-year-old fillies. Let's head back down to New Jersey in the Dearly Precious.
Racing in the Dearly Precious Stakes. Schedule on the far outside had a very good break. Then She Laughs. And on the inside, Love That Legend, Speedy Falcon, and Cherished Destiny all right there. Then Dream a Dream for Me and Spirited Game will trail early. Schedule up front as they head up the backstretch, leads a length and a half. Then She Laughs on the inside. Speedy Falcon, Cherished Destiny fourth, 3 off the lead, and the quarter went in 22 seconds flat. And then it's Love That Legend in fifth with 4.5 to make up. 4 back to Dream a Dream for Me, and Spirited Game around the far turn. Schedule on top by 1.5 lengths. Then it's Speedy Falcon and Cherished Destiny to the outside. Down toward the rail, Then She Laughs gaining ground but under a drive. After that comes Love That Legend in fifth. Dream a Dream for Me and Spirited Game. Schedule ran a half in 44 3. Comes down to the 8th pole with a 2-length lead. Cherished Destiny and Then She Laughs coming up the fence. And from the back of the pack, Dream a Dream for Me is closing late with Love That Legend. It's Schedule in front. Cherished Destiny, Dream a Dream for Me coming on the far outside. But Schedule is going to go all the way while drifting out. Schedule really drifted out. Finishes first. Then came Cherished Destiny and Dream a Dream for Me.
That was Schedule crossing the finish line in front after a front-running effort. She was DQ'd, however, as Cherished Destiny is granted the victory here, as Schedule, the British-bred import, did drift out late after being involved in very brisk early fractions, pressed hard by Speedy Falcon in the early stages. May have cost her a little bit, and she did drift into the path of Cherished Destiny, who ends up getting the victory here. Dream a Dream for Me rallies from off the pace to pick up the 3rd spot. Cherished Destiny is a gray or roan 3-year-old daughter of Grand Slam from Silver Hiawatha by Silver Buck. Bred in Kentucky by C. Bruce Hundley and Doug Arnold. Owned by David Landsman Racing Stable and trained by Doug O'Neill. Ridden to victory by Joe Bravo. Cherished Destiny covers the 6 furlongs at Monmouth in 1:10 and 1. We're going to stay in the Mid-Atlantic and head to Colonial Downs in Virginia for the running of the DeHaas Stakes. Of course, DeHaas made his name on the turf. This race was scheduled at a mile on the turf. It did come off the turf because of this very inclement weather in the area. $50,000 flat mile now on the main track. Let's head down to Colonial and the running of the DeHaas.
And they're off. Thunderbolt fires out first to open up 2 lengths on Access Approved and Alberton and Mount Carson. Last away Devalier. Up the backstretch they go onto the main portion of the track. Thunderbolt with good natural speed out there, loping along by 1.5 lengths on the lead. Thunderbolt taken in hand to slow it up a bit here. They're ganging up in behind. Access Approved. Mount Carson is a handy 3rd inside at a bit tight quarters there. Mount Carson looks to get through inside and secures that inside spot. Now taking 2nd as Thunderbolt has the lead in neck, but Mount Carson moving through inside to challenge immediately with 5 to go. Access Approved 3rd Alberton, and last of all is Devalier. Into the far turn they go, and Mount Carson bids up on the inside, but Thunderbolt counters right back. They're inseparable round the far turn with just about a half mile to go. Access Approved, then Alberton and Devalier. Thunderbolt favored Mount Carson on the inside. Even terms as they come past the 3A's pole. Access Approved is 3 lengths off the dueling pair. Alberton is dropping out of it, and Devalier at the tail of the field. They're at the top of the stretch now and swinging for home. Mount Carson well off the inside leads it. Thunderbolt is next. Access Approved. Devalier's got a winning shot too, and Devalier's trying to come with a run in between horses. Devalier's coming quickly now. Mount Carson has that lead with a furlong to go. Devalier's in second. Mount Carson shaking free by 3 lengths. Devalier into second. Thunderbolt is a defeated third, followed by Access Approved, 16th to come. Mount Carson and Joe Rocco Jr. rolling on to the favorites roll 3-5, flashing across the line. Mount Carson 5 lengths clear at the end. Devalier was second. Access Approved. Thunderbolt.
Mount Carson, who had not been in the winner's circle since last year's Hirsch-Jacobs Stakes on the Preakness undercard, ends up winning by 7 in very impressive style. This is a horse that was entered presumably with an eye on the sky. He has not really been much of a turf horse. In fact, it would have been his turf debut had this race remained on the turf. Devalier rallies well from off the pace. He did get off to a bit of a sluggish start, but picked up a little bit of ground late. Access Approved, finishing in the 3rd spot with a nice effort. Did chase the pace in the early going right behind Thunderbolt before fading to finish in the 3rd spot. The winner, Mount Carson, is a chestnut 4-year-old son of Lord Carson from Mount Gibson Gold by Cox's Ridge. Bred in Kentucky by David P. Reynolds, owned by the breeder and trained by Rodney Jenkins, ridden to victory by Joe Rocco Jr. Mount Carson covers the mile at Colonial in 1 minute, 35 seconds flat. We're going to pause now for a brief message, and when we return, we'll be heading to Philadelphia Park and then taking a look at stakes racing action from Churchill Downs and Woodbine. Please stay tuned.
This year, many thoroughbreds, no longer able to compete, will join the ranks of racing's homeless. Since 1982, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation and its supporters have been providing help and hope for those in need, creating opportunities where once there were none. The TRF, together with the racing industry, is meeting the challenge, taking care of their own. Yesterday's innovative concepts, combining the TRF's rescue mission with educational and rehabilitation goals, have become today's life-saving success stories and a track record of unsurpassed growth. Safely retired thoroughbreds are now enjoying second careers, bringing responsibility, healing, and purpose to the lives of those who need it most. With your help, we can continue our saving mission, ensuring many more horses the welcome home they so richly deserve.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action from Philadelphia Park. We're going to take a look next at the running of the My Juliet. This is an ungraded $100,000 sprint for older fillies and mares. Let's head to Philly in the running of the My Juliet.
And they're off. Baldy breaks well. Good speed from She Is Raging. And She Is Raging quickly takes charge and sprints clear to a 2.5 length lead. It's Baldy running second, another 2.5 back to Ebony Breeze in third, another 2 back to the pair of Lights On and Mauritia. They move to the half-mile pole. She Is Raging leads it now by only 1.5 lengths as Baldy has quickly moved in a closer second. They went the opening quarter into the wind in 22-1. The favorite Ebony Breeze sits third with 3/8 to go. She is running just about 4 lengths behind, and Castillo now beginning to go to work on Ebony Breeze. Lights On is farther back, and she has better than 6 to make up, and Mauritia will have to rally past the ball. They come to the quarter pole, and She Is Raging, holding on to a short lead, now bracing for the challenge of Balmy. On the outside, here comes Ebony Breeze making her run. They turn for home. It's still She Is Raging. They hit the 8-pole. Her lead is about 2.5, but here comes Ebony Breeze. Ebony Breeze has found her best stride. Balmy not doing enough, and Ebony Breeze just going to roar right by She Is Raging inside the 16th pole. They come to the line. It's Ebony Breeze. Ebony Breeze has won it a full length on the wire. She Is Raging was second. Balmy finished third.
Ebony Breeze getting the victory here as the odds-on choice by a length over She Is Raging, who has been a pretty fast sprinter in New York. Congratulations to local connections, Roddy Valenti, one of the owners of She Is Raging. Balmy finishing in the third spot after pressing the pace in the early going. The winner, Ebony Breeze, is a bay 4-year-old daughter of Belong to Me from Valid Carnauba by Valid Appeal. Bred in Kentucky by the Kinsman Farm, owned by Kinsman Stable and trained by Bill Mott. Ridden to victory by Herb Castillo Jr. Ebony Breeze covers the 6 furlongs at Philadelphia in 1:10.3. We're going to head next to Kentucky and Churchill Downs, where on Saturday they ran the Grade 3 Locust Grove for fillies and mares on the turf. Let's head down to Churchill and the running of the Locust Grove.
Off fan running in the Locust Grove. Sand Springs out on top. Risk Averse up the inside, came away second. Medina Bay down at the hedge, racing third. 2 Dot Slew gains on the far outside. Then Shocknage and Hallery Lee wrangle back to trail. Passing the Twin Spires for the first time, Sand Springs and Mark Guidry under a nice hold. 1.25 lengths in front of 2 Dot Slew on the outside, racing second. Modena Bay third. Risk Averse is racing fourth between horses, then Shocknage and a break of 4 back to Hallery Lee. The quarter down the straight, 23 4/5 seconds, rounding the clubhouse turn. Sand Springs uncontested out there, leading it better than 2 lengths now to 2 Dot Slew, 3 wide racing second. Modena Bay, Risk Averse splits fillies, comes up, then Shocknage in 3. Back to Hallery Lee, 9 lengths off the pacemaker up the backside. They continue. Half mile in 47 seconds flat. Good fractions on for Sand Springs. In front by 2.5 now. 2 Dot Slew second. Risk Averse is off the rail racing third. Up the inside comes Modena Bay at the hedge. Then it's Shocknage and a break of 3 back to Hallery Lee. At the back of the pack, rounding the far turn. Sand Springs in front by 1.5 lengths now. 2 Dot Slew taking up the slack second. Risk Averse still biding her time down on the inside. Shocknage is gaining up into it now. Then it's Modena Bay and Hallery Lee at the back of the pack to the top of the lane. Sand Springs been in front every jump of the way at the quarter pole. 3 parts of a length in front. Up the hedge, Risk Averse is cut loose by Pat Day down. Here she comes. 2 dots Lou, far outside. Shockadage is gaining ground. Down to the final furlong. Sand Springs, tough as nails. She digs in up front. Risk Averse put to the whip on the inside. Shockadage gaining far outside. Shockadage to the front. Sand Springs digs in. Hallery Lee coming late. Shockadage is clear. Shockadage winning the Locust Grove by a length and a half. Sand Springs holds on for second. Hallery Lee was third in 1:46 and 3.
Chaconage and Brice Blanc getting a length and a quarter victory from off the pace here. Hallery Lee rallying as well to finish second, a nose in front of Sand Springs, who was right there every step of the way in the early going and just ended up losing the whole thing by about a length and a quarter. The winner, Chaconage, did win the Argent Mortgage with a huge off-the-pace inside move on Derby Day. A couple of races back, was disappointing in the Mint Julep last time out, and as a result allowed to go off at 7-1 on Saturday. Chaconage is a gray or roan 4-year-old daughter of El Prado from Carreta Tostada by Galansky. Bred in Kentucky by Adrena Van Doren and owned by the breeder, trained by Mitch Sirota, and ridden to victory by Brice Blanc. Chaconage covers the 1 1/8 on the turf at Churchill in a quick 1:46 and 3. We're going to head north of the border now for a trio of stakes races accompanying, of course, the Queen's Plate, the biggest race in Canada. The first of these series is going to be the Victoria Stakes for 2-year-old fillies, $125,000 dash for the 2-year-old lasses. Let's head north of the border and the running of the Victoria.
They're off in the Victoria Stakes. Flamenco broke running and to the outside, Whole Lot of Bourbon. Texas is toward the rail. Fortunate Trip had a stutter step start, but has recovered quickly, comes on to be fourth now. Down toward the inside is De Cardinal. To the extreme outside is Henry's Court. In amongst horses, Sir Laugh-A-Lot. Then back to Renga and Criminal Mind. The opening quarter mile was in 22 seconds flat. Is Flamenco. Flamenco to the quarter pole. On the attack on the outside, A Whole Lot of Bourbon. Down on the inside is Texas. Sir Laugh-A-Lot is right there, as is Henry's Court as they turn for home. Landry trying to get Flamenco to the wire. It's Flamenco by 2 lengths. Whole Lot of Bourbon. Down on the inside, Sir Laugh-A-Lot. In between horses, De Cardinal. But Flamenco is too good. Final 16th of a mile. Flamenco, an open length winner of the Victoria. Whole Lot of Bourbon second and De Cardinal third.
Flamenco picking up the victory, her second in her career. She's 2 for 2 with a nice front-running effort, fought off rivals in the early portion of the race. Texas, who had gotten off to a little bit of a difficult start, did hustle up hard before fading, as well as early pace presser Whole Lot of Bourbon, who held on quite nicely, but Flamenco was able to put them away, drawing clear nicely from A Whole Lot of Bourbon, with the Cardinal rallying from off the pace into the third spot. The winner, Flamenco, is a chestnut son of Dance Master from Libre by Fly So Free, another freshman stallion represented in 2-year-old stakes racing. Bred in Florida by Maloney and Thompson, owned by Peachtree Stable and trained by, who else? Todd Pletcher, another nice 2-year-old. Flamenco covers the 5 furlongs at Woodbine in 57 and 4. Big race of the weekend, of course, north of the border was the Queen's Plate, said to be the equivalent of the Kentucky Derby. It is restricted to Canadian breds, but it's $1 million mile and a quarter nonetheless. Let's head north of the border in the running of the Queen's Plate.
They're at the post. They're off in the Queen's Plate Stakes. Negon broke quickly from the outside toward the inside. Long Pond, Stuart Elliott trying to get position with him early, and Silver Ticket is showing early speed as well. Silver Ticket, Negon, Long Pond, and Archer Fleet as they move in front of us for the first time. And it's Silver Ticket in front for Todd Cable. Long Pond has control of the rail. Archer Fleet gets a little nudge between horses there from Simon Husbands as they head into the turn. In between runners is a Night Sky. Kent Bridges 4 wide. Negon was found a little wide at the 7/8 pole. Then we have Strike 'em Hard. A bit of gold. Clear of Trouble on the outside. Back 5 lengths off the lead. Then we have Alleged Ruler, Just in Case Jimmy. His smoothness back to Will He Crow, and Copper Trail is to the inside as they start that journey along the backstretch. and it's Silver Ticket, who is watched intently by Negon. The opening half mile was in 47-4. They're at the midpoint of this Woodbine backstretch. Negon is on the outside, and to the inside, Silver Ticket. Negon by a neck now, and A Bit of Gold begins to accelerate toward the leaders. Just a length and a half off the lead now. It is Negon as they head to the 3/8 pole. Silver Ticket tries to find some more. A Bit of Gold looms into contention on the outside. Kent Ridge is back and forth. Then Just In Case Jimmy. They come to the quarter pole. It is Negon by a length and a half. Jones is asking A Bit of Gold in second. Silver Ticket is back to through them, then Just In Case Jimmy, and they're into the lane. Landry looking for that Queen's Plate with Negon. They lead it by a length and a half. A Bit of Gold full out to catch him in the final furlong. Negon trying to hold on for one more 16th. A Bit of Gold on the outside. Negon on the inside. Dreams can come true. Negon and Robert Landry, they win the Queen's Plate. A Bit of Gold second, and Will He Crow was third.
Very nice stretch duel here between Negon and A Bit of Gold, the favorite A Bit of Gold, who had won the plate trial. The winner, Negon, the horse that had finished second to him that afternoon. So obviously the two coming in off of the trial were the two that ended up being the right pair if you had them in the exacta. Negon showing very good speed from the outside, getting to the lead up the backstretch. A Bit of Gold behind horses in the early going. The first turn he sat behind horses before making the bid into contention, but it was these two all alone, 7 3/4 lengths in front of He Will Crow for the third spot. The winner, Negon, a dark bay or brown 3-year-old son of Unbridled from Save the Last Dance by Nuria, was bred in Ontario by the Chiefswood Stables Limited, owned by Chiefswood Stable and trained by Eric Cottrell. Ridden to victory by Robert Landry, Negon covers the 1.25 miles at Woodbine in 2:04 and 3. We're going to pause now for one more brief message, and when we return, we've got stakes racing action from California and heading back home to New York. Please stay tuned.
NYBreads.com, the online home of North America's best incentive program. The latest news, updated throughout the day, plus streaming video of New York bred stakes winners. Check out the New York bred leaderboards for jockeys, trainers, owners, and breeders. Want to become an owner or breeder? Well, the New York Thoroughbred Breeders section tells you about upcoming new owner seminars and farm tours. You'll even find an online sales section with horses you can purchase right now. There's a directory of New York State farms, a stallion registry, plus up-to-date sales information complete with hip numbers and pedigree pages. Thinking of breeding your mare? First go to nybreds.com and run a hypothetical mating with any registered New York-based stallion. And finally at nybreds.com, you'll see why the New York Breeding and Racing Program is North America's best, with over $40 million a year in purses, incentives, and awards. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to continue now with stakes racing action from Hollywood Park, which of course means Hollywood Turf Course racing this weekend. Cinema Breeders' Cup Handicap for 3-year-olds on the grass. They're going for a $150,000 purse. Let's head to California and the running of the Cinema.
They're off. Willie and Greek Sun show speed. Laura's Lucky Boy is close up, Unrivaled away in fourth. Kilgoen and Chabasco Red are next, and the early trailer is Blofeld. Laura's Lucky Boy going to set the pace today, and Laura's Lucky Boy is a tight length in front of Greek Sun, who sits in second. Unrivaled and Willie are third and fourth, and they're 2 lengths from Laura. Then comes Chabasco Red. Fifth, 2 off the rail and 4 from the front. Kilgoen and Blofeld at the back of the pack as they turn to the back stretch. Laura's Lucky Boy very comfortable up front, just gallops along a half length in front of Unrivaled, who's going to come put some pressure now on the favorite, and so Laura's Lucky Boy will have to quicken as Unrivaled takes it to him now to the backstretch, and suddenly these two sprint away. Laura's Lucky Boy and Unrivaled, and now they match strides. Greek Sun going to get the best trip now. Undefeated Greek Sun is now 4.5 lengths from what is a changed pace up front as Unrivaled took it to Laura's Lucky Boy, turning into the backstretch, and now these two duel away 6 in front. Greek Sun
races in third. It's another 4.5 back to Blofeld and Willie. At the back of the pack are Chubasco Red and Kilgoen, and they fire into the far turn in the 58th Cinema Breeders' Cup Handicap, and Laura's Lucky Boy has had enough of Unrivaled. Laura's Lucky Boy now clearly in front to the quarter pole. Unrivaled tried to soften him up. We'll see if it benefits Greek Sun. He's still got 4 to come. Then comes Blofeld, 5 off the lead. Kilgoen, Willie, and Chubasco Red, and Laura's Lucky Boy is the boss at the top of the stretch. He still has work to do. Greek Sun is going to try to gun him down in the final furlong of the Cinema. Laura's Lucky Boy gets the acid test now. Here comes Greek Sun right alongside in Greek Sun, and Laura's Lucky Boy will decide it, and Greek Sun slingshots to the lead. Laura's Lucky Boy, no response. The undefeated Greek Sun, yes. Greek Sun won by 2. Laura's Lucky Boy was second. It's close for third between Willie and Kilgoen.
Greek Sun, Bobby Frankel getting the win here with this very impressive looking horse, making his 3-year-old debut and getting the victory over the odds-on choice Laura's Lucky Boy. Willie did rally from a stalking position into the 3rd spot, but a very nice effort here by Greek Sun, who stalked in perfect position under Alex Solis and had plenty left to draw clear from Laura's Lucky Boy, who had come under some pressure in the early going. The winner, Greek Sun, a 3-year-old son of Danzig from Sunlit Silence by Trempolino, was bred in Kentucky by E.K. Gaylord II in Cheyenne Stables, owned by Peter Angelos and trained by Bobby Frankel. He here picks up his first graded stakes win under, of course, Alex Solis. Greek Sun covers the mile and an eighth on the turf course at Hollywood in 1:48.2. We're going to head right back to the Hollywood Park surface on the grass. We're going to take a look next at the Beverly Hills Handicap, a grade 2 for older fillies and mares going 1.25 miles. Let's head to Hollywood now, the running of the Beverly Hills.
They're off. Artem Relaunch and Miss Lauren broke best and go for the front, and Miss Lauren takes charge early. Notting Hill was a bit awkward into stride, and now she's wrangled back, and so that allows Noches de Rosa to take second. Moscow Burning is close to the pace just outside of Notting Hill. Light Jig came away smoothly. She's 5th at the rail, and the early trailer now is Artem Relaunch. Noches de Rosa confronts Miss Lauren as they hook up with the main course. Noches de Rosa rides the rail to half ahead in front. Long shot Miss Lauren alongside in second. Moscow Burning is just outside of those two, 3rd and a length from the front. Light Jig and Notting Hill are just in behind the leaders as well. They're 1.25 lengths off the lead, and Artem Relaunch is the trailer 4 lengths from first to last as they turn into the backstretch. In the 39th Beverly Hills Handicap, Noches de Rosa and Mike Smith will set the pace now from Miss Lauren, who's a 1/2 length back in second. Light Jig is bottled up and ready to roll when she finds a seam. Moscow Burning is 3 deep in the red cap. Those two are 2 lengths off the lead. Notting Hill is shuffled back now to 5th. She's 2.5 lengths from the front, and Artem Relaunch has trailed throughout as they head up the backstretch. There's 4 1/2 furlongs to the wire. Noches de Rosa and Miss Lauren, these two still 1-2. Noches de Rosa a measured 1/2 length in front. Miss Lauren alongside in second. Light Jig still going to need racing room. No excuses for Moscow Burning. She's 3 deep in perfect striking position. Notting Hill is still 2.5 from the front. Artem Relaunch trails. Any one of the 6 of them can do it. Noches de Rosa just ahead in front. Miss Lauren runs a big one. Moscow Burning put to the test by Kent DeSormo. Light Jig still needs racing room. She's 2 from the front. Artem Relaunch and Notting Hill are next, and here comes Moscow Burning 3 deep. Noches de Rosa battles on at the rail. These two now kick clear from Miss Lauren. Light Jig still has 2.5 to come, and Moscow Burning strikes to the lead, but she'll have to hold off Light Jig, who's out and on the attack. Moscow Burning reaches. Light Jig attacks. It's going to be close. Moscow Burning. Here comes Light Jig to roll by and win.
Well, it was the Bobby Frankel Show and Stakes Company with, along with Alex Solis, picking up the 2 stakes on the weekend, with Light Jig completing the exacta for the Frankel barn. Stalking position early, 3 wide move to a length win over Moscow Burning. Noches de Rosa, the early pace setter, held on well to finish in the 3rd spot. The winner, Light Jig, is a 4-year-old filly. She was making her first United States Stakes appearance prior to this. since arriving in Frankel's barn here in the U.S. She has 2 wins and a nose loss from 3 prior tries, so obviously she has been running very well against Good Allowance Company. Juddmonte Farm, of course, the connections here, and we have seen a number of very nice Juddmonte fillies coming over to this country and running for Bobby Frankel. This one of a number. This is a 3 or 4-year-old daughter of Danehill from Nashmeal by Blushing Groom. She was bred by Juddmonte in Great Britain, now owned by Juddmonte, trained by Bobby Frankel, and ridden to victory by Alex Solis. Light Jig covers the 1.25 miles on the firm turf in 2:01 and 2. We're going to head home to New York, and we've got 4 stakes races from NYRA for this past weekend. We're going to kick things off with the ungraded Tremont Stakes, $100,000 5.5 furlong sprint for 2-year-olds. Let's head down to New York in the running of the Tremont.
And they're off. And Primal Storm right to the front. Gold Joy broke well, but is now dropping back a bit. Winning Expression now coming right up to the neck of Primal Storm. June the Tiger at the rail. Into the far turn. Primal Storm short lead. Winning Expression right there with them on the outside, second. And down on the fence, June the Tiger is third and Gold Joy is fourth. Around the far turn, and it's Primal Storm still leading the way, but Winning Expression is right there just off him on the outside, and not far behind it's June the Tiger. The quarter went in 22 and 2. Gold Joy couldn't keep up with the others, now dropping 6 legs from the field. Coming to the quarter pole, and it's Primal Storm in front. Winning Expression now has asked for more, and here comes Winning Expression on the outside. Winning Expression in Primal Storm, and Winning Expression takes the lead. Winning Expression in front. Primal Storm now begins to give way second as Gold Joy gets on track late. Gold Joy's coming on, is a threat. Winning Expression, here comes Gold Joy to win it. The longest shot on the board, dropped way behind on the far turn, came out on the stretch and blew him away. Gold Joy wins, Winning Expression second, and Primal Storm trudged home third.
Well, this was like the world turned upside down. We had an odds-on choice and a horse under 2-1, and those were the 2 that finished last and second to last. As the 14-1 shot beats the 7-1 shot home, it was both New York breds, in fact, on top, with Gold Joy getting the job done after being outrun early, winning by 1.5 lengths with a strong finish, kicking clear of Winning Expression with Primal Storm, who had been victorious in the Flash a couple of weeks back. The odds-on choice finishing third. June the Tiger a little bit disappointing after a bumpy start, finishing fourth and last in the field. The winner, Gold Joy, is a 2-year-old chestnut son of Joyeux Danseur from Lizzie Worthington by Gold Seam. Bred in New York by Chase Mead Daly, owned by Ken Taylor and John Saltzman Sr., trained by Tim Saltzman, and ridden to victory by Mike Luzzy. Gold Joy covers the 5.5 furlongs at Belmont in 1:04 and 4. We've got 3-year-old fillies in Grade 1 company next in the Grade 1 Mother Goose. This is a $300,000 1.125 miles for the 3-year-old fillies. Ashado returns off of a bit of a freshening since her Kentucky Oaks victory. Let's head down to New York in the running of the Mother Goose.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Ashado breaking alertly, and Ashado's immediately in front. No one particularly anxious for the lead here. The gray Stellar Jane is there, and down on the inside, Daydreaming, and toward the outside, Miss Coronado and Society Selection on the far outside. Island Sand is near the back of the pack, and Daydreaming has now been dropped back to trail the field, but it's a tight pack moving at a moderate pace early. Ashado and Society Selection together through a tepid quarter in 23 and 4/5 seconds. Stellar Jane holds her spot at the inside. She's third. Miss Coronado allows the others to go on, now running along in fourth. Island Sand is in between horses, and Daydreaming trails a compact field, 3.5 lengths from front to back. Ashado now sparring with Stellar Jane. Society Selection drops 1.5 lengths behind them in third position with 5 furlongs to go. Daydreaming down on the rail. Miss Coronado, Island Sand trailing, and she's now about 4.5 lengths from the lead. Stellar Jane, a narrow lead, but Ashado's matching strides with her all the way. Society Selection, Miss Coronado sent up 4 wide. The half went in 47 seconds.
seconds flat, and they're rounding the far turn here with 3 furlongs to go. A Shadow Stellar Jane still head-to-head for the lead. Just in behind Society Selection, couldn't keep up with them, and she's tailing off. And now Island Sand is coming with her run now, and she switches to the outside for the run into the stretch. Miss Coronado is tailed off, Daydreaming down on the rail, 4 lengths from the front. The field turns for home. It's Stellar Jane with a short lead. Stellar Jane and Johnny Velasquez gets busy on a Shadow. A Shadow and Stellar Jane down to the 8th pole, and there's nothing between those two. Island Sand third. Stellar Jane is another gear. Robbie Alvarado asks her for more, and she is giving it. She has repelled a Shadow to win the Mother Goose. Stellar Jane by 3 conclusive lengths. A Shadow was second. Island Sand was third.
Stellar Jane, the longest shot on the board, and interestingly enough, coming in out of a very nice performance in Kentucky in the Dogwood for 3-year-old fillies. Here shows good speed down inside under Robbie Alvarado. Comes under hard pressure, involved in the early going right from the start, and never gives in. Pressed hard by a Shadow around the turn and ended up drawing clear by 2.5 inside the odds-on choice. Island Sand made a nice bid from off the pace after being a little bit aggressive heading into the far turn. She did kind of swing a little bit wide, maybe lost her footing just a little bit, and did not run on all that well through the stretch, but she did hold on to third fairly easily. The winner, Stellar Jane, finished 7th in the Kentucky Oaks, a race which has already proven to be a little bit of a questionable race. A number of the fillies that showed absolutely nothing that day have come back to run well. Off of that, she ran well in winning the Dogwood Stakes in the beginning of June, but she has obviously returned to her very best form here now, picking up her first Grade 1 stakes victory, and interestingly earning Wayne Lucas his first New York graded stakes win since the 02 Forgo, which he won with Orientate. Stellar Jane is a 3-year-old gray daughter of Wild Rush from To the Hunt by Relaunch. She was bred by the Wind Hill Farm in Kentucky, owned by Spendthrift Farm, and trained by Wayne Lucas, assistant trainer Peter Hutton saddling. Ridden to victory by Robbie Alvarado, Stellar Jane covers the 1 1/8 at Belmont in 1 minute 48 seconds flat. New York bred 3-year-olds on tap next with the Mike Lee $100,000 7-furlong sprint. First leg of the OTB Big Apple Triple. Let's head down to New York in the running of the Mike Lee.
And they're off. Multiplication immediately to the front. Friendly Island breaks well. There's Friendly Island on the far outside, and Multiplication coined for success in between those two. Speed Gemma, 4th toward the inside. At the rail, Gates Avenue in a bit tight. He's now 5th. Work With Me is 6th. Swinging Ghost, Don Corleone, West Virginian, pay attention. Racing down the back stretch, and it's the speedy Multiplication, and Friendly Island's running with him all the way. Those two hit the far turn together, and they rattled off a quarter in 22 and 1. Runaway speed here. Multiplication and Friendly Island going at it. Full throttle around the far turn. They pulled away from the field by 7. Speed Gemma 3rd, Gates Avenue 4th. Work With Me 5th on the outside. Swinging Ghost beginning to pick it up. 3 furlongs to go. The half eye-popping 44 and 1. And it is Multiplication. Friendly Island couldn't stay with them, and Multiplication opens up 3 on them. But the others begin to close in. Swinging Ghost is coming up the inside. Work With Me on the outside. At the top of the stretch, Multiplication softened up by brutal fractions. Here comes Swinging Ghost driving through on the inside as Multiplication starts to fade. Work With Me running out late, but in the final 16th, it is still Multiplication trying to hold on. Here comes Work With Me. Could not get to Multiplication, who holds on to win it. Work With Me 2nd, and Swinging Ghost was 3rd.
Multiplication comes in from California and wins off at 3-1 by a length or a half a length over the late charging Work With Me. Swinging Ghost, a very nice effort to finish very strongly, to finish 3rd. It was kind of a tough race. The pace was certainly there, but with a big field of horses, it was not easy for some of these horses to move between rivals, but Swinging Ghost did make a very nice bid. The winner, Multiplication, an interesting colt, began his career on the turf for Bob Baffert. Did not care very much for that, and has come back with 2 very nice California efforts on the dirt. Here ships into New York, as there were a number of horses shipping in from other circuits in this race, which has just proved that this Big Apple Triple and the New York program is doing extremely well. Multiplication is a chestnut colt, a son of subordination from Tricky Move by Tricky Creek. Bred by Becky Thomas in New York, owned by James McInvale and trained by Bob Baffert. Ridden to victory by Edgar Prado, Multiplication covers the 7 furlongs at Belmont in 122 and 2. We're going to head right back to New York now for one more stake, the Astoria for 2-year-old fillies. Again, $100,000, 5.5 furlongs. Let's head to New York in the running of the Astoria.
They're off. Limited entry, breaking on top. Chocolate Brown, though, quickly to the lead. Chocolate Brown up to take the early lead. Out there a length and a half already. Limited entry runs in second, and Broadway Gold between horses now third. Then it's Mint Landing, followed by Comasina, who's found a way to the inside. Lady Glade outsprinted in the early going here. Chocolate Brown very eager while in front, holding that lead by a length and a half. Limited entry, chasing her all the way second. Broadway Gold on the outside, third after a quarter and 22 1/5 seconds. There's a break of another 3 back to a wide Mint Landing. Then Comasina, Lady Glade now beginning to show some interest as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. And it's Chocolate Brown with a narrow lead, but Broadway Gold is right at her throat latch now. Lady Glade is now third, top of the stretch, and it is Broadway Gold roused to the lead. Chocolate Brown, no response for her. On the outside, Lady Glade and Comasina, but they're coming down to the finish, and it's going to be Broadway Gold in a big way here. Broadway Gold, Jerry Bailey wraps up on her in the final few yards, wins by 3 lengths. Lady Glade was second, and Comasina was third.
Broadway Gold getting the victory under Jerry Bailey as the choice by 3 lengths. She showed good speed after a bobbling start. She moved 3 wide on the turn, was wrapped up late as she heads to the wire 3 lengths in front of Lady Glade, who rallied from far back off the pace. Comasina, a maiden in this field who had run third in her career debut behind Shug's filly Dreamtime. Here ran very nicely to finish third once again in an off-the-pace move. Chocolate Brown, who was the early pace setter, faded in the stretch. Comment line said that she was vanned off. Unfortunately, I was not able to find out before this program went to air the results of her injury or ailment, so hopefully things are okay for Chocolate Brown. The winner, Broadway Gold, is a dark bay or brown 2-year-old daughter of Seeking the Gold for Miss Doolittle by Stormcat. Bred in Kentucky by Madeline Paulson, William S. Farish, and Scarra Glen Stables. Owned by Mrs. E. Paul Robshem and trained by Stanley Huff. Ridden to victory by Jerry Bailey, Broadway Gold covers the 5.5 furlongs at Belmont in 104 and 2. That's going to wrap up a busy weekend of stakes racing action. We hope you've enjoyed the program and will be able to join us next week for Horses and Courses. We're going to have a very busy edition with the holiday weekend. 4th of July weekend is always a big racing weekend, so we'll have a stakes-packed weekend and a lot of races to bring to you next week. Thanks again for joining us. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Jean Wood. Have a great week at the races.